The tax was established 30 years ago by President François Mitterrand, a lion of socialism, to finance welfare. It has since become a symbol of the principle of solidarity that binds the country's wealthy and poor. Now, after 3 consecutive weekends of protests, Mr. Macron may reverse his decision to abolish the tax, a levy on households that own assets, including stocks and bonds. Valued at more than €1.3 million, $1.5 million. Your browser does not support HTML5 video.0:00:00 skip 1815. The Gilets jaunes, or Yellow Vests, movement started as a protest against higher fuel taxes, but it has become a rallying cry against President Emmanuel Macron's economic policies. Their latest demonstration resulted in riots in Paris that led to hundreds of arrests and injuries. Image AFP/Getty. If a measure we've taken doesn't work, we're not stupid, you see, we're going to change it, said government spokesman Benjamin Griveaux, in a radio interview on Wednesday. Any change, however, wouldn't be implemented before next year, once the government has had time to thoroughly examine the tax cut's impact, Mr. Griveaux said. Months after taking office in 2017, Mr. Macron replaced the decades-old wealth tax with a new tax on households with real estate valued at more than €1.3 million. The change was aimed at encouraging people to invest their savings in stocks and bonds and to help French companies grow, stimulating the overall economy. Mr. Macron's opponents, however, quickly seized on the change, branding him the president of the rich. That label has stuck as Mr. Macron has carried out his pro-business agenda, stripping away job protections in a bid to encourage companies to hire. The tax that was removed was to encourage investments in the real economy. It was not a gift to the rich, Mr. Griveaux said Wednesday. If that's not the case, if the evaluation is not good, then we can reopen it for discussion. Related reading. The demonstrations by protesters clad in yellow safety vests, known as Gilets jaunes, spiraled into riots in the heart of Paris last weekend, becoming the biggest challenge to Mr. Macron's presidency. The protests, triggered by the government's sharp increase in fuel taxes, morphed into nationwide demonstrations against Mr. Macron's policies. Faced with another weekend of destructive protests, Prime Minister Edouard Philippe said on Tuesday that fuel tax increases would be pushed back 6 months to allow for public discussion. The announcement, however, did little to mollify protesters, many of whom were already on social media calling for new protests this coming Saturday. On Wednesday, Environment Minister François de Rugy said the fuel tax increases would be delayed an additional 6 months for a total of 1 year. That way, there's no funny business, said Mr. de Rugy, speaking with members of the protest movement in a debate on national TV. Right to Noémie Bisserby at noemi.bisserby at wallstreetjournal.com appeared in the December 6, 2018, print edition as France weighs reviving wealth tax.